we talk about the security of the religion, that's all. You know what is happening? Until the government reacted, the government didn't think of any beefing up any security anywhere. All the killing in the said they don't know. All the raping, all our professors that have been kidnapped, right and later. But he doesn't know. And when they were killing the people in the Go area, they killed the PhD man who established a big farm and employed over 500 people. They destroyed the farm. The woman who had the petrol station there, they killed him. They all shouted. Buhari and the APC government, they didn't see anything until the people now react. And I repeat, Sunday Igboho came to being due to the inaction and negligence and culpable lack of responsibility on behalf of the federal government and the state government to protect. They are the people who are to protect life and property. That is their constitutional right. When they fail to do that, they go now exercise the constitutional right of self-defense. So they have no case. If they have arrested the people who are doing all this havoc in the Igbo area, so they go who come to be. It is inactivity, the negligence, criminal negligence of Buhari. Now, after the Hamas, because when they react now, you now say, oh, you want to send us that way. See what's happening though? You go and occupy a reserve area. You want to build farming there. My dear, can we go to Kaduna and say we want to establish cocoa farm? Because we have a right to stay anywhere. How can these people just sit us as if we are dummies? And they talk sheepishly and say, hey, we are one Nigeria, so then they have to go to retaliate. How many Yorubas or Igbos are kidnapping the people in Kaduna or Kanu? And when we had the Fulani arms commanding, the Fulani arms had to go. Have we had Dangote to go? Please emphasize that. And let Dangote and all the Fulani or the who have investment in the South, the people tell them they should not provoke the West. Don't change the narrative. Okay, Tolu says all these are men who are in unauthorized area. They should go. And they are the people who are kidnapping and burning the houses and destroying their farms. When they attack Fala's house, farm, thrice, and they even kidnap him. A man was being sent to the government of this country. What did Buhari say? A man was being a senior office in the office. Publicly, he did utter a word, not even a word of sympathy. First time, second time, third time. And he said we are in one country. I think God has been kind enough to where my colleagues. When we are 70, we are 80 years old, we are thank God. They are now 90. They are still afraid to say what is good for the country. When I don't say it, who is saying it? Particularly those who are oppressing young people and pretending that they are serving you. If that is what will take me away, over. I have told my children, why are you all worried? Baba, don't go out. This COVID sometimes has God not given you not notice better. Your father was 70, 80, and 90. Your colleagues who find the parents have died, 70, 80, and said, I shall be there. So your own will come. There's no news. That is truth. As long as I see the only money I won't go for the service of this country, until I am in the grave, I will continue.
Sir, let me beg you, sir. I want you to share with us how. I want you to beg you, sir. I want to beg you, sir, because many of us have encountered this COVID, and we want to know maybe we should go for local remedy because
local
remedy for
COVID, sir. Maybe that's the
no, it's what you saw me drinking something.
Yes.
I have taken my lemon this morning. It is the orange. And when you go now, I'm going to take my vitamins. Even after I've been treated, and I take my zinc, and that's what I take. Because it's not any native thing. Or the only native thing that I say, that is dongoyaro, which I do steaming with every night. That's all.
Were you worried then, sir?
Worried when I was over 90. You people don't know. It was for my daughter. I got it after going to Ibadan for the funeral of Mrs. Oyediro. And I attended Sheikh Mohammeda's funeral. That was the crowd I knew. I came back. And I just had fever, and I thought it was malaria or something. My last born, Dr. Adebanjo, he was his Papa. He just brought the Iban to test me, and he said I was positive. But I don't feel anything. Until I feel it, I don't feel anything at all. Other than that, it's short or something. But the second day, I said, that promise not to have, and this week. I'm not afraid of that now. Oh, I'm so much. That is why my wife, I know that she's in this house now. My wife has left my room. She has gone upstairs. She said, I received too much visitors. Because she's over 90. She'll be 91 in the next month too. So we are already what you, they can't stop me. I said, yeah, if it's true, I'm not living long. But that doesn't kill me. My father was 105 when he never went to do science. But the reality is that I am a funeral candidate. That should be afraid. I mean, why? You see the paper tomorrow, oh, glory be to God, 88, 82, 89, 75, 78, 79. And then man over 90 now say, then man over 90 down, I say, oh, the devil has done his worst. So you want to hear the word? You can get to your office now and they say, Papa, he's gone. But we tell you just now, that is life. That is a possibility.
So in the last few months, the youth have been clamoring for change. They're also voicing out in terms of they want to have their voice in the politics of the nation. Sir.
Yeah.
What happened in Lekki phase one of us, where we went out to show our listening to government. Sir, is there any other way youth can also, because we've tried in many ways.
Okay, you see what happened, answers. More of it should happen. And I'm telling you plainly, there is no faith in these two parties. I'm saying openly. No faith because why I want to say openly is that anyone I'm supporting is the one that is nearest that can give us something. I could see that the personnel in all the two parties, save Sheyi in Ibadan. For now, I don't know what will happen tomorrow. And you also, you know what I'm saying. All the other governors have a copy. For the governors in the southwest, they are under Tinubu. Or that's not that they have one thing or the other, which Buhari is harassing them with the EFCC, because none of them are not clean. So they can't fight the battle. And I said all of them are corrupt. And I tell you why I say so. None of them can say they became governors or something without saving billions. What is your chance? So when I say you have no chance, I am not blackmailing them. The system is such that you can't make it. I've often given the example, people don't forget it. Know this. You remember Alhaji Gani Daudu?
Yes.
When he was to be a councillor here, he was to replace the father of Yekerangu. They are in the same ward. When Yekerangu died, they were looking for someone to replace him. And the area council member said, what about our secretary? Oh, he was earning £7 in your hold. They said, Abu God can do it for me. The party paid for his nomination and everything, and he became councillor, and he became chairman. Can that happen today? Even when it happens with the party, particularly in APC, you can't say this is what the party will want in your ward. They will tell that, no. That also, I'm telling them here. Let them, the councillor, come and tell him this is the choice of his people. So when people like me disagree with them, not that I hate them. For instance, Tinubu there is a very liberal young man, but I don't like his politics. No, he knows. I endorse, if he was corrupt as this, he won't be governor. And he has justified even my body. Why? I only have to take money and confirm future winners. We didn't impose him. I want to repeat that. He won the primary then through the system we set up. I want to repeat it for record because people have been saying Afẹ́fẹ́ leaders impose Tinubu on their people. No. Tinubu contested a three-cornered fight. Himself, Bokar Akerele, and Future Winners. And he won. How he won, I don't want to confuse that story with this. Because I can tell you the story quickly. We have decided in the party, if you do any primary and there's confusion there, you cancel it. What I learned later on through one of his supporters, I don't want to embarrass him every time I mention him, was that they intentionally created confusion where Future William was strong in mainland and Ikorodu. So when they brought the result, and Alhaji Daudu, who was the chairman, said Future William won that he would have won. They counted those people. Our INEC said no, we are not there. And Baba this one said, going down, look out, that was right. In fact, changes on record. Gani Daudu has forwarded Chief Shogun to the INEC, to the INEC there. I countered it as the national chairman that this is the system we use. That is why he said, if I had been corrupt, I wouldn't have done it because I didn't get a penny for him for doing it. We only say this is what we decided in the party, that was going to be done. So each time people say, you post, I say, well, if I'm guilty of anything, I'm guilty of due process. I plead guilty to that. If you say, why did you go? I said, this is system that I'm giving, and that's what I follow.
So were you surprised when he came for your birthday? When he came for your birthday, Asiwaju?
Why should I be surprised? No, I have said this. He's humble. Oh, there's nothing, you see, if I have to be sentimental or anything, he's very sentimental and very generous. But that is not, you see, my life, 80% of my life has been the struggle. Anything that touches it is when you are within that context, I fall in love with you. Because if you are to be an attraction, I have several attractions. That's why I tell some of the people now who go from one part to the other. I don't know school certificate when I've been fellowship, I don't know. I was in Zik school and read my autobiography. Because it was Azikwe who aroused the political segment of this country. I have been buying the West African pilot since 1942 when I was in primary 5. That's where I get all the nationalism. Azikiwe was an idol. He had a column in the West African pilot then inside Sub Isaac. I commit it to memory. My copy of the pilot is the copy my class teacher buy at Cathedral School. Because I bought my own from the house. It was in the school they will supply him with pilot. So when you get to school, say, and where's your paper? I just say, well, I bought it my own. So thank God. When Awolowo came, and the question of what system I'm going to have in this country came in, and he explained unitary and federalism, that's why I parted with. It was that principle that drove me to him. And I become more fanatical with our law. I was close with him. I knew him inside out. He preaches what he teaches openly and quietly, and in his private life too. That is why when people say I'm rigid and I hear it from my leader. And I've not regretted following his footpath. All those who say they are away and deviated, it's not easy. It's not easy, don't easy to follow our law. It's not easy, my friend. Even when he was alive, some of his supporters, which we know, we say, he won't steal, he won't allow other people to steal. I know what that means.
So, are you surprised that some Lagosians says they don't want to be part of Odua state?
They don't want to be
part of Odua Republic?
No, that they are stupid. But for the Yoruba people, there will be no Lagos. But for the Yoruba people, there will be no Lagos. It was Chief Awolowo who fought for Lagos being merged with the West when the Constitution officers came in. They wanted to make it the federal capital. Yes, they said no man's land. I said, well, no. If you want to make Lagos no man's land, go to a place that was not habited. And he gave them the issue of capital of the whole world. But you don't take part of a place to be no man's land. Washington was a no man's land. All of the places they created. That was why this man who set up a committee for federal capital.
Lassa. Lassa. Mama Lassa.
No, international airport.
International.
That's our international airport, what do you call it? Our Lagos international airport, what do you mean? Musa Mohammed. Because he set up that committee with Solani and others. And Adeogun, they can go there. So I told them, don't remove capital from Lagos. Then they said, let's go and get social. If you remove capital from Lagos, what makes Lagos tick? It's not the capital, you see. And eventually, that place will become desolate by the time people realize it. Because you can't maintain capital like that. Because this will remain to be the commercial capital. And all the things we are talking of, they will work in Abuja and then come to Lagos at the weekend. What is happening now? And by the time we do restructuring, and everybody keeps his own money, we find out where the farmers will keep Abuja. Go and live, you will be around. You will be around. Go and live it down. The amount of money they are spending in Abuja now, that is why there is crisis in South. They take the money there and spend them there. Until 1999, I was in Bayelsa. I felt sorry for the people there. That was a state with only one road. It's only one road that leads to Bayelsa. I was the chairman of the Alliance for Democracy. Maybe they have consulted that now. And that's where the money comes from. And then when you get to Abuja, and you see what has been done there, you say, take our money, do this and do that. You don't even give us something to do. So all this area, when they did this, they're just cheating them. Give them their money. You can't say because somebody is a prodigal son, you deprive him of the father's heritage. So then you spend it not say, why, that is his business.
At 93, sir, you have remained...
93.
93.
Yes, until next month. Until next month.
Oh, 92.
It's 93 next month.
Oh, 93 next month. I was saying that going to 93, sir, you remained a very stylish man. You remained a very stylish man.
Stylish how?
Stylish in terms of your dressing.
Is that what it is?
You're always well dressed, sir.
Well,
How do you explain that, sir?
well, that's like my pattern from school. I learned it from my father. And if you ask my contemporaries at the grammar school, that's where I was known as sportsless banjos.
Sports.
Sportsless banjos. Because you know we have white dress in grammar school.
Okay.
And I use running canvas,
Okay.
white canvas.
Okay.
At that time, that canvas has blue tape. But so when you watch it, there was some people not get it and cover the blue. I will not get it and remove that plate on the blue. So my own blue. So my own white has fallen. So when I heard it and then I did my life for my father.
And you've always been looking younger and younger, sir.
Everybody.
You've been looking younger and younger, sir.
I just well, that's God's grace.
But what's your routine, sir? What's your routine? Your routine, like your routine, your daily routine.
I don't know if I right now get up, then do my prayers, go to bed, do my breakfast. Until I was 80 something or something, I do my walk every morning until I got here now. I do my walk on that bridge every morning 1 hour. And right now I'm eating copper. Yesterday or the day yesterday. And when I watch the news at about 12 midnight, I do 30 minutes walk.